Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw.
Hey, Friendo Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast we need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. A quick programming note. Doing Raw every Monday night is a royal pain in my ass. And so Larson and I talked about it, and barring any advertising obligations that might potentially get in the way, but we can figure that out, we're going to start moving our Raw reviews to Tuesdays when we do our typical news brief. We're going to do it much in the way we do our NXT reviews now. We'll couple a news item with a Monday Night Raw episode, recap, a review in podcast form on Tuesdays. We, because of pandemic, we were able to add quite a bit of stuff to our slate, including doing these reviews right after Raw. Same with AEW and SmackDown. We've been able to add Impact streams, which we both love. Now we do NXT UK watch-alongs, which are a lot of fun on Thursdays, and we couple that with news brief. But as far as Monday nights are concerned, this is going to be it for that. Again, we have to talk to our management team, make sure that the
bottom line is that Raw is not an enjoyable program.
Yeah.
And, I think we'd both much rather be doing just about anything. Yeah. From 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific time, rather than having to sit through Raw all 3 hours of it.
Right.
And so we've done it for about a year, doing these Raw reviews right after the show. Part of me, as a competitive individual, doesn't like giving up on it. At the same time, I could drive myself insane or make myself miserable doing something that I don't enjoy. And I think you feel the same way.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. If and when, more like if Raw turns the corner creatively and becomes must-see TV again, then we'll reevaluate.
Yeah, if there are, because I mentioned this to you, I said, hey, dude, if there are episodes that are specially themed, episodes that we know.
Wildcard finals. If it seems clear that, hey, they're going to do something big on this episode, if there's a big return planned, there's a WWE title match that seems like something important could happen.
Right, exactly. Like they usually telegraph when that stuff is going to happen. Then yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll call an audible. It's our channel. We can do kind of what we want with it. I believe, I'm not mistaken, Fightful. Still, I mean, I don't know exactly how many people still do immediate post shows. I think there's a handful of them out there. If you look on Twitch, there's probably plenty. If you look on YouTube, there's probably plenty. So if you need your fix, it's right there.
Right away.
But
we're still going to do them. Don't mean make a mistake. We're still going to review.
We're going to do it live.
Be Tuesday.
We're going to do it live on Tuesdays.
It's just going to be Tuesday.
And we're still going to do AEW live after the show. We're going to do SmackDown live after the show. That stays in place. We offer quite a lot of programming here on the channel, whether it's on our Twitch, whether it's on our YouTube. This is kind of I think for two things. Number one, for our own well-being. We get to spend a Monday night, a bit more family time, given that we've added Wednesday nights, Friday nights. We have Thursday Night Impact, pay-per-view. We always do that kind of stuff. So it does allow us some time to breathe a little bit with the family. And honestly, I honestly feel like doing it next day, being able to watch it and skip through the commercials and skip through the recaps. So the experience is more like an hour and 45 minutes, an hour 50, whatever. I feel like that's going to make for a more enjoyable product that we can come to the next day and be a bit less down about it in general, even if it's our approach to it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is, we have to, like, I sit in this chair, the same chair I'm sitting in right now for 3 hours watching Raw. I'm tired of sitting in this chair.
Yeah.
Just tired of sitting in this chair because by the time I get out of this chair, I'll be sitting here for about 5 hours. kind of tired of sitting in there.
Yeah.
Even in a good Raw, still a little grumpy because guess what? Sit in the same chair for 5 hours. So if we could break it up, give you a chance to get out of this chair, stretch the legs, maybe grab a small bowl of chips, a snack of some sort, some nourishment to power me through. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems like it's time. Really, when it comes down to it, Raw's just not a good show tonight. Not a good show. Like every episode of Raw, there's moments of good stuff. On a rare occasion, moments of greatness. It's just bogged down, by and large, in 3 hours of mostly boring, at times, like creatively inept, and on occasion, some real head-scratching decisions, like all the stuff with Orton and Riddle. Still largely pretty entertaining.
Pretty entertaining stuff. I like that a lot tonight.
Main event tonight, great.
Yeah.
Not exactly the outcome I was hoping for, but still a hell of a match.
I was really pulling for Kofi. Really pulling for Kofi.
Same.
I had a feeling though they were just gonna run it back.
Jimmy Smith, new play-by-play announcer on the Raw team, had a really strong first showing.
I thought within minutes.
Yeah,
he did. He was such a great fresh.
He seemed more comfortable, and it's calling various sports is obviously different because there's different, like baseball, which I think Adnan does has a very languid pace. It's a slow paced game, so you could go off on tangents and conversations like literally in between pitches and not miss anything. It's by and large not fast paced action. Jimmy Smith, coming from the world of combat sports, MMA, he's used to the pace of fights, which wrestling is trying to simulate. And so I think just the pacing, the cadence of the action fits, what he's been doing far more probably what Adnan was used to.
Yeah.
There's probably not going to be a learning curve quite as steep for Jimmy Smith because of that, as opposed to Adnan. I thought he did fine.
Yeah, no, I thought he was wonderful. I thought, he was. It's two things. Number one, if I don't notice you, you're probably doing a pretty decent job. He blended in perfectly. Night one, he knew the names of moves. His exclamations were motivated and made sense, and they just didn't seem like they were just thrown in there like Adnan tended to do. And he was just trying to bring enthusiasm to it. He was trying to do what he could do. But I think Jimmy Smith is a much better addition. Hopefully he enjoys it, sitting there in that chair for 3 hours.
Having Vince bark in your ear.
Yeah.
At least I don't have that going on.
Yeah, I know.
Vince barking in my ear for sitting in the chair for 5 hours.
Could be worse.
It could be worse.
I thought, dude, I honestly thought I thought that there was some maddening stuff today on Raw. Just some stuff that literally drove us to this decision. Because I texted you at 5:24 and said, I'm over this. Let's figure a way out of it. I'm like, we coupled it with News Brief, I think last week. Why did we do that last week?
Because your internet went down.
I had the big internet outage. That's right. And yeah, when we find some news on a Tuesday, we can couple with that. Like, it's not going to hurt us in terms of our views. It's just I don't want to go through this. I'm tired of talking about Raw headaches. Like, it's just not.
Yeah, I got one right now.
Yeah.
Sucks.
The only reason why I don't is because we made this decision, and I know this is the last. That's the only reason why I don't right now. Otherwise, I'd be like, oh, I'm miserable. Told Lacey she's all into it.
Yeah.
So anyways.
As always, some good, some bad, a lot of boring. One particular maddening decision is after weeks of build, they actually built them up to be kind of challengers for the tag titles. They broke up Elias and Ryker, seemingly unmotivated.
Completely.
They tried to motivate it after the fact. Elias was saying, essentially, when Omos was, I'm paraphrasing, putting me through the LED board, where was Ryker?
Yeah.
After I helped him beat AJ Styles.
And you can probably go back in time because Elias and Ryker have been a thing for a little while now.
Yeah.
You can probably find any number of opportunities why Elias could have used the same logic to break up with him earlier. You know, I mean, I can't off the top of my head, I can't think about it, but they've been mixing it up with a lot of people for a while now. And it's just, it seemed completely unmotivated. I actually thought, and there's no way they were ever going to do this. And if they tried, they wouldn't have pulled it off right. But when Elias said, hey, do you know what it's like to go into battle? And then Ryker gave him that little shoot line of, yeah, I've been to Iraq, and then left. It would have been a bit more interesting if Elias was like, man, he made me feel like shit just then. You know, because like he just brought like real life into it, and I wasn't trying to go that heavy, and now he did that. And that's like, they would never do that because like they wouldn't know how to handle that kind of, you know, logic. And I don't even know if I want that in my programming. But I mean, you know, yeah, this didn't make any sense.
Didn't make any sense.
And now we have a babyface Ryker. Ryker, he's got, look, say what you will about Ryker. He's got a great look. But I mean, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And then he's got some issues, obviously, that we don't really have to talk about here. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I think Vince probably sees this guy. He's like, oh yeah, let's push him. Let's keep Ricochet and Ali on. I know Ricochet and Ali were on TV tonight, but let's put their 2 out of 3 falls match on main event. I know. And keep Ryker here on Raw.
I know.
Spotlight role.
Let's release 2/3 of Forgotten Sons. Let's release Cutler and Wesley Blake, but we'll keep Ryker.
A couple of really good wrestlers, but we'll keep this guy. Right. Yeah, and then of course there was Shayna Baszler losing to Reginald.
I was totally expecting that to happen, so I guess maybe it didn't bum me out. I was disappointed by it, but I wasn't like, oh gosh, you know, this is a final straw. I was totally expecting that to happen once that match was made. Totally expecting it.
I mentioned this in the pre-show. I thought there was a line they wouldn't cross. And I mentioned this also when Shayna Baszler had that interview not long ago where she talked about the conversation she had with Vince. And Vince was saying, oh, you know, we all know what you could do work rate. You save that for the pay-per-views now. We've seen that in NXT. This is different. It's main roster. It's sports entertainment. And this is what that turns into. And God bless her. She's doing her best. Like, I thought that every time Shayna Baszler says anything, does anything, she does everything and more that's expected of her. But like, this is not, you don't sports entertainment up somebody who clearly should be just annihilating people on a night-to-night basis.
I'll be honest, what actually disappointed me more than Shayna losing to Reginald was Shayna's going to be in a program with Alexa Bliss now and is going to lose more.
Yeah, you're right about that.
That bums me out more.
It doesn't, but yeah, it doesn't bum me out more though, because this is Reginald. He's a clown act. Like that, just on principle. Just like last week, I was like, on principle, you should never write down on the booking sheet on Pat Patterson's address book. You should never write down the words Jackson Ryker pins AJ Styles to get the win. That's never be written down.
That should never happen.
Nor should you ever write down Reginald rolls up Shayna Baszler for the win. I don't care what the circumstances are. You should never write that down.
I don't disagree with that. However, given how they've been booking Shayna like the last 3 months, given all the stuff going on with the Pyro, I was like, yeah, I would be surprised if Reginald wins this.
Because fire's going to happen, yeah.
Because fire happens. But then it's like whatever they're doing with Bliss, it's like the ultimate spinning wheel situation with Alexa Bliss right now. It's basically been the same thing for 2 months.
That's another reason why I'm kind of okay with Shayna and Alexa getting into a thing, because Alexa's she needs to be dislodged from the spinning wheels thing. She is the inheritor of the Fiend powers, and I don't believe that Bray Wyatt has any creative input on this, because she wouldn't be spinning her wheels. This is like water. This is like that's the sequel to Donnie Darko. Remember, that had nothing to do with Richard Kelly, right? Mm-hmm. Or the sequel to American Psycho, which was just a straight to VHS movie with what's her face.
It was Mila Kunis, right?
Yeah, and that's what Alexa Bliss is. And yes, and Shayna Baszler is going to lose this stuff, and that sucks. But at least Alexa Bliss is a former champion. At least she's got supernatural powers to motivate this stuff. Shayna lost to a clown act tonight. Cirque du Soleil guy. That's my bigger issue, but I understand where you're coming from because it's a bigger thing. I get that.
Well, I think also, too, it's a matter of expectations. I was expecting Shayna to lose tonight, so when it was happened, expectations met. Was I happy about that? No, but expectations met. There was no sense of disappointment per se there because I was expecting it to happen. And I guess maybe I should have expected Shayna to get into a thing with Alexa. I guess I kind of was. But just given her trajectory the last few months of taking L's across the board, she's going to get into the program where she's going to be taking a bunch more L's.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
If one L to Reginald means she gets into a program and she starts winning matches, cool.
Yeah.
I expected that to happen. Now if she can get on a path where it'll lead to wins, cool. But that's not what it's going to be.
Yeah. It's just bad and bad. It's bad compounded by bad is what we're saying here. Yeah.
If bad led to good, fine.
Right.
Bad's leading to more bad.
Yeah. When does Shayna's contract comes up? AEW could use some star power in their women's division.
Yeah.
They've got a brand new heel champion. All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, Molecule. Hey, Larson.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that I share a bed with 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks, an Olympic swimmer, and a national women's soccer star?
Wait, what?
Okay, right. Let me explain. All right. When I heard that elite athletes sleep on a Molecule mattress, I had to get my hands on one.
Oh, well, but you're far from an elite athlete, though, Steve.
Got me there, brother. But I can at least sleep like an all-star on my Molecule. Heck, if Pro Bowl quarterback Russell Wilson says that Molecule gives him his best sleep ever, Steve's not going to argue. I listen to Russ and get myself a Molecule.
Molecule isn't like other mattresses in a box. Their sleep scientists have literally crafted the world's most perfect mattress. It's got zone reflex layers that adjust to all your weird, crazy sleep positions so you never awaken to a stiff neck or back soreness. Plus, Molecule mattresses are antimicrobial. It features 6 times the airflow of your old mattress, so it keeps you cool all night.
Molecule mattress is how elite athletes and Steve here gets the best sleep ever. Order your Molecule mattress and sleep on it risk-free for 100 nights. If you don't have your deepest, most restorative sleep ever, return it. Go to onmolecule.com and save 20% with promo code GIR.
Again, save 20% with promo code GIR at onmolecule.com. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, it kicked off with a Memorial Day video package. Corey introduced new commentator Jimmy Smith. Raw opened, thank God, wow, with Miz TV.
Well, about thank God, maybe they were like, okay, well, if people don't turn off right away, then I guess we got them for the whole duration of the show.
What's their rating going to be this week? You think it's going to get to 1.5? It was 1. It was like 1.7 last week, I think.
It was 1.6 something.
That was like a high 1.6, yeah. Yeesh.
It'll be around 1.5. It'll be around 1.5.
Yeah.
Probably. So anyways, yeah, Miz TV kicked the show off. He's not a zombie. He should be.
He probably should be. I mean, that's how it works.
He should be.
I saw Army of the Dead. That's how it works.
That's how it works. He was surrounded, engulfed by zombies. Like the only saving grace of this whole segment was John Morrison wearing the thing of garlic around his neck. Mm-hmm. And that was just the sight gag.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I saw it. I laughed. I was like, all right, I see what he's doing. And then that was the extent of it. Everything else is like, I got hurt during my match, the lumberjack match. At that point, he finally notices that John Morrison has like 12 cloves of garlic around his neck. And he's like, yeah, I'm preparing in case anybody attacks us, vampires, aliens, whoever. He's got a drip stick, so those little water shooters. But anyways, Miz says he had an epiphany while he's away. He had to get back on Raw because they're going on the road. He also realized that he's accomplished so much in his career. It's time for him to give back to support superstars like John Morrison or his guest tonight. He introduced Charlotte. He says to her, 3 weeks, you could be champ again. Charlotte says, yeah, Rhea's had a good story. A fairy tale win at Mania, but life isn't a fairy tale. In 3 weeks, I'll be sending Rhea to hell. Rhea comes out, tells Charlotte, say you're going to send me to hell. You can go to hell. Gets right in her face. And Miz is like, whoa. I know this is your first time, Rhea, on Miz TV. Let's sit. Let's chit-chat. Let's get to know you a bit. And then Rhea's talking about how she's a nightmare to everyone in the women's division. If they want to interview her in 3 weeks' time, she's still going to be the champion. Charlotte says Rhea couldn't even beat Nikki Cross last week. Miz goes, oh, that's true. Throws the video of that. They come back. Charlotte says she couldn't beat Nikki. Why do you think she could beat her? This brings Nikki Cross out. First, he apologizes for interrupting. Talks about being Rhea last week. Thinks it's only fair now that she challenges the winner of their match at Hell in a Cell. She's not asking to step in front of line to Charlotte, considering she beat Rhea. She just wants the winner of the Hell in a Cell match. She wants that title opportunity. And Charlotte's like, if life was fair, I'd be champion already. Rhea talks about Nikki earning her respect. And then Nikki tells Charlotte that she could beat her in 2 minutes. And if she did, then would she grant her the title shot? And then Charlotte says, I could beat you in a minute. Nikki slaps her. Charlotte accepts the challenge. Why wasn't this a beat the clock challenge with the clock to set to 1 minute? That is what Charlotte said.
Yeah, I know. They hit copy and paste so often. The one time they don't, it doesn't make any sense.
There should have been a 1 minute beat the clock challenge because Charlotte said, I can beat you in a minute.
This whole thing was so stilted, too. Nobody acts right. Like, Rhea comes out. She has, like, the worst line. You said you're going to take me to hell. You can go to hell. Who writes that shit? It's awful dialogue.
It's awful dialogue.
She's clearly uncomfortable. Nikki Cross coming out, acting like asking permission for stuff. Why isn't she going to Adam Pearce? Why don't these people know how to, like, ask for matches and stuff?
So it's this beat the clock challenge. It's a 2 minute clock. Should probably be 1 minute. So in this match, Nikki wrestles like she probably should have wrestled last week, rolling out of the ring.
Yeah.
Stalling, milking the clock. So she would get in, she would roll out. Charlotte would go after. She'd roll back in. Just repeat that a few times. At one point, Nikki rolls out. Charlotte's given chase. Nikki kind of hides behind Rhea, who's sitting at commentary, and Charlotte's talking crap to Rhea. So Nikki gets back in the ring. Charlotte does too. Charlotte hits a couple strikes, puts Nikki on the top rope. Nikki hits Charlotte with a DDT, follows with a drop kick, and Charlotte just pretty much brushes all that off. Picks up Nikki's legs, trying to get lock on a figure four. Time expires.
Yeah.
And that's why I texted you. Why is this so bad? Because this doesn't help Nikki Cross at all.
No, it makes her look incredibly weak. It just makes her look incredibly weak. Like, her whole demeanor makes her look incredibly weak. And I know that, like, she was sort of playing off of Alexa before when they were a team, and it was much more palatable. But her just on her own like this, it's like, I don't need her to be sort of feral like she was back in NXT. But man, she's like one of the best wrestlers they have. You know? Show that. Anyways, after that, we had Riddle and Priest backstage. Riddle really does have good... Now that they've sort of focused Riddle's comedic stuff, it's much better. So he was getting Spanish lessons from Priest. He tells him how to say a bunch of stuff, and he finishes with, how do you say, hey, Randy? And Priest gets really serious. Which, by the way, where was Priest tonight besides this? He gets really serious. And he says, hey, Randy. And we all know what's happening. Randy's there. And he says, no, I thought you were going to say something else. Like, and then he's like, he points, and then he looks, and Randy's there. He says, oh, hola, Randy. He says, hola, Randy. Which is hello, Randy. And so anyways, Randy says, hey, I saw last week you used my finish to win your match. And Riddle's like, oh, yeah, dude, I just felt it. It was great. And he's like, we got to be on the same page if this tag team thing is going to work. He says, why don't you come with me to my match tonight, hang out ringside, maybe you'll learn a few things. Riddle gets very excited. That's when he starts rambling about the RKO, and Randy tells him to shut it. But the whole time, Randy looks tickled. He looks like he wants to laugh. This is really fun stuff. Randy's really into it. Riddle's really into it. They have terrific chemistry, and I really love this match. Randy Orton versus Xavier Woods, which was next.
Yeah, another strong showing for Xavier Woods. Xavier and Kofi got some new gear. Power Rangers inspired.
Go, Power Rangers. We were huge fans of this back in the day, Larson.
You're cave-having things, brother. So early on, Orton hits his customary belly to back on the commentary table, go to commercial, come back. Woods has hit some offense. He hits a forearm that has this great, like, sliding flatliner. That was awesome.
Yeah.
He's hitting Orton with some punches in the corner. Orton gouges his eyes, hit a powerbomb, gets a 2 count. Orton rolls Woods to the apron. He's looking for the draping DDT. He's talking to Riddle. Hey, pay attention. But doing that allows Xavier Woods a chance to escape. He starts working over Orton's arm, locks on a Fujiwara arm bar. Orton gets the ropes, then hits the draping DDT. He's looking for an RKO. Woods counters to a backslide. Gets a 2 there. He charges Orton after the kick out, and Orton catches him and hits a Bro Derek. He gets Woods in positions. Winks over at Riddle.
Winks at Riddle.
Hits the Bro Derek to get the win, and Riddle is maybe the most excited I've ever seen.
Beside himself. And so he's celebrating. He's rolling around on his scooter outside, and then he gets in and he does the pose, and Randy is this close. He starts to lifts his hands, and then he just pats him, and he walks on.
Yeah.
I know it's 6 weeks away. But do they save the very first pose that he does for fans?
For pay-per-view? Oh, yeah, probably.
Oh, man. The crowd would explode. This is really good stuff. This is the one I was like, wow, this is good. If this was on a 2-hour show surrounded by a bunch of other cool stuff.
It'd be strong stuff.
It'd be
really
cool
strong stuff.
Yeah.
Here's the worry. Well, I guess not worry, because it'll lead to potential a good storyline for Riddle. Is, say, SummerSlam, they get a title shot. Tag titles, fail to get the titles. Orton's going to turn on him right there.
Do you think it's more likely, given how good this is, that they would let them get a run with the titles first?
It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible.
I hope they do that. I hope that you have an opportunity to do kind of similar something that you did with like Kenny and Hangman, where it's like they end up being such a strong team, they get them, and then it's like it's just I mean they were talking about it tonight. I think Jimmy Smith was talking about it. You lay in bed with a snake or whatever it is. Yeah. Obviously we all know it's going to turn. It's just when. I really want them to milk it, and maybe when they're at their I don't know, maybe at their highest moment, he turns. I don't know.
Who knows? After that, we got a Shayna, Nia, and Reginald video package, and we got a quick bit of MVP Lashley, and they call Lashley's ladies. Is that like the official terminology being used by WWE?
Oh, is that a thing?
I thought so.
Oh, that could be. So. I just always write them down as MVP brings some honeys to the suite.
Oh, all right.
Lashley's
I've been hearing the phrase Lashley's ladies of late.
Yeah. Anyways, as you can tell, man, it's difficult for me to pay attention during these 3 hours. It really is.
I was paying attention to Lashley's outstanding orange suit.
What a magnificent suit that was. It was magnificent.
What an amazing suit.
Yeah.
There's some really quality dressers on in WWE programming of late.
Yeah, no.
You got Seth, you got MVP, you got Lashley.
Yeah,
all just bringing great suits. Anyways, next Shayna Baszler versus Reginald. Before the match begins, Nia is talking to Reginald. Hey, you don't have to do this. Be careful. Reginald tells her, "I can handle Shayna." He says, "I faced Sasha. I faced Tamina." And Nia says, "Well, yeah, with my help, you did." And Reginald says he's got this, and he asks her to watch the match from backstage. Don't come down to ringside. And Reginald does most of his usual cool stuff, where he's doing all sorts of crazy acrobatic moves to escape, moves and whatnot. There's this great bit where Shayna shoulder tackles him, and he escapes the next move. Shoulder tackles him again. This time Reginald kips up. Shayna shoulder tackles him again, and while he's trying to kip up again, she catches his leg, DDTs it, starts working the leg over.
She looks for the pattern and finds it. Yeah, totally.
It was good. That was really good. Move. Yeah. So at the finish, Shayna sinks in the clutch. Pyro goes off in the corner. Reginald rolls up Shayna to get the win, and he goes backstage. Nia's there. She's super happy that he won.
Yeah. All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, forhims.com. Hey, Larson.
Yeah?
Is that hairline of yours slowly making its retreat? Because 66% of guys start losing their hair by the age of 35. But I'm here to tell you the best time to prevent even more hair loss is to do something right now while you still have some follicles on that dome of yours.
And why do guys turn to odd solutions or do nothing at all when they could turn to medicine and science? Hims is helping guys be the best version of themselves with licensed medical providers and FDA-approved products to help treat hair loss.
Hims connects you with licensed medical professionals online. All you got to do is answer a few questions, and if it's determined it's right for you, you'll be prescribed hair loss treatments that are shipped directly to your door. It's discreet, completely confidential, and means you can say goodbye to all those awkward in-person doctor's visits and long pharmacy lines.
Today, Hims is giving you their best offer yet. If you're not happy with your results after 90 days, Hims will give you a full refund. And right now, Going In Raw listeners can get their first visit absolutely free. Go to forhims.com/GIR. That's forhims.com/GIR.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Remember, that's forhims.com/GIR. After that, we had, was this the Drew McIntyre interview up next? So he sort of like kind of relates himself to Kofi a little bit, but he talks about how Kofi put his obligations to others first. And he says, you know, I did that a long time ago, but I realized I had to put myself first. Then he sort of rambled on about, I think, having a kid or something.
Well, he decided he wasn't going to have any children right now and focus on his career.
Oh, okay. But didn't he say something like, because when I do have a kid, I want to make sure something like that?
Yeah, he kind of goes off on a tangent. Something, he's going to tell him a story about how he beat Brock, so on and so forth.
Yeah, right. And then we had Mace T-Bar versus Lucha House Party. We had a Mace T-Bar promo. They talked about animals. I like when T-Bar started talking about bottom feeders. That made me, that's a funny phrase to me. He said it with so vociferously. Bottom feeders. Remember a couple weeks ago they had that Lucha House Party video where we were like, oh, are they gonna start pushing them? Yeah, no. Mace T-Bar just completely annihilated them. I'm on board with that though. I like Mace T-Bar. I think they're great. They squashed the crap out of Lucha House Party.
They did. They really did. It was pretty much absolute destruction. After that, Alexa, she's in the playground. She's doing a bit of a tease for Reginald's appearance later on in the show. We get a Sheamus promo. He's going on another week, another victory. He can't wait to go back on the road so he can defend his title in every major city. Talks about how Ricochet and Humberto, that they should have pride even in defeat, but yet they try to embarrass him. He says, I'll offer your participation trophy. It's the closest you're going to get to this title. He then throws the video of them beating him up last week. He says, do they look like champs to you? That's nothing but scumbaggery right there. People are asking him why he hasn't defended his title. He says, because of people like them. He started this open challenge to find someone worthy of challenging for the U.S. belt. They're not worthy of lacing his boots. He's not going to take them on together as in a 2-on-1 handicap match. He's going to face them back to back. Then he'll send them back to catering where they belong. Again, a situation where we knew exactly what's going to happen. He's losing both those matches.
Yeah. And he looked amazing in the process, by the way. Like, how is he not the babyface? He looked like a total badass here. Like, I know he lost. That's fine. But, like, so his first match, Ricochet versus Sheamus, he's just killing Ricochet. Mid-match, Carillo comes out. Ricochet rolls him up, gets the win. After that, we had, obviously, Carrillo's there, so we had Humberto Carrillo versus Sheamus. Now, Carillo throws sort of a wayward forearm, and it lands a little too flush on Sheamus. He gets busted open.
Yeah, he started bleeding from his nose pretty good.
Yeah, and he looked kind of shook at first, too. Ricochet gets involved in this match, and then Carrillo gets a win with the roll-up, of course. And I'm like, how is Sheamus the bad guy here? Like, God. Like, you have one of your best wrestlers putting together, like, a stellar year of matches. And he's got taken on two guys at the same time.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever.
I don't know. Next, we get a new Eva Marie video package. Seems like she's going to be wrestling.
She was definitely in the ring, but she was sort of talking about that was her career, like before she took a break. And then it shows her, like, at the beach to illustrate her taking a break.
Yeah, but then she's back in the ring training, and she says something to the extent of, you know, I got unfinished business.
Oh, okay. Then she's totally wrestling. Yeah. Again, I started tuning out because I was so excited about not doing this on Mondays anymore. Apologies.
Yeah, I can tell. You're already looking forward to next Tuesday.
I'm looking ahead, man. This was very exciting. An A&E biography about Bret Hart's coming up, and he paints in it. What do you think he was painting?
him shoot breaking Shawn Michaels' foot.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's him. It's him in some state of...
Without a doubt. Next match on Raw, Naomi and Lana versus Mandy and Dana. Natalia Tamino on commentary. Mandy and Dana get the win. They hit this Samoa drop, kind of neck breaker combo for the W.
Bit of a sloppy match, don't you think?
Yeah. Timing seemed off or something. I don't know what it was, but something seemed a little off about it. This next segment was disappointing. So Shelton Benjamin was taking on Cedric Alexander. A rematch that I don't mind because their series is tied 1-1. I feel like there's plenty you could do with this still. Instead of giving them a good 15-minute blow-off match and just putting this to rest, they have Shelton start really fast, looks for a powerbomb. Cedric sticks his thumb in his eye, hits Neuralizer for the win. 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Again, just pushing.
Copy and paste. It was literally the same finish. I was like, wait a second. They just said it was the same thing. Let me go back and check my notes. It was the same thing.
When Cedric was making his way down the ring, he's been saying this whole time, he learns, he adapts.
Yeah.
You put someone in front of him, he might fall for it the first time. Second time, he's not going to.
Yeah.
And yet he does the same thing. Like they can't even keep things consistent with their own characters.
I know. After that, we had Elias backstage trying to pep up Ryker. Talks about going into battle. He's like, do you know what it's like to go into battle? And Ryker says, yeah, I served in Iraq. And then walks away, and Elias looks like an idiot.
So they were doing this thing where Ryker looks like when he walks down the ring for the match, he was described by commentary as catatonic. It was like he was so afraid of stepping in the ring against Omos that he was like, I don't know, he was like out of it. And that was, I think, why Elias was giving him an earful in this bit.
They're doing a trance Ryker thing, I guess.
I guess.
I don't know.
So we got a Kofi interview. He talked about how he's been able to achieve so much because of his family. He says he doesn't understand why Drew thinks he can take this cheap shots at him. He says, I respect him. But you can't respect the cheap shot about losing to Brock. He says, I was there. I know what happened. You might have blinked. You might have missed the whole thing. He says, but while we're taking cheap shots, let's not forget what happened 2 weeks ago. I did what Drew couldn't. I pinned Lashley on my first try. He says, Drew thinks he's going to run through me. That's not going to happen. They're going to leave it all out there, and when it's all said and done, he's going to beat Drew. And then he's going to beat Bob Lashley again at Hell in a Cell.
I really hope that this isn't the last we get of Kofi as a main event player. I much rather see that. I mean, yeah, you could do both of them. You could do the whole thing, have the New Day in the tag division thriving, and have Kofi in the main event. But if I had to choose, I want to see Kofi in that main event again. You know?
How about this? You got Big E over on SmackDown. You get him up challenging for world titles. You got Kofi on Raw, challenge for world titles. And you get Xavier Woods winning the King of the Ring.
Oh, that's good. I like that. That's good. I feel like as a tag team, I mean, I know they're putting on like cool outfits and stuff. They need some sort of freshening up of the New Day. Now, ever since they lost Big E, they need some sort of freshening up, you know? I don't know what. Maybe it's just aesthetics. Put on, start wearing suits instead. You know? I don't know. Something. Anyways. After that, we had AJ Styles and Omos versus Elias and Ryker. Elias isolates AJ Styles at first. That's a typical AJ Styles and Omos match. Ryker takes it to AJ. Goes for an Elias tag as AJ is going for a tag for Omos. Elias jumps off the apron. Omos tags in. Absolutely destroys Ryker. AJ tags in phenomenal forearm for the win. The whole time Elias is up on the stage after he had gotten off the apron. He's sort of looking, and then he runs off.
Yeah.
Backstage, Nia Jax comes up to talk to Reggie. Says, "Are you sure you want to accept Alexa's invite to Alexa's playground?" And he's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be fine." Backstage, Elias is escaping the scene of the crime. He's being interviewed. The what's his face comes up to him.
Kevin.
Kevin comes up to him, and
Kevin
Elias.
Patrick, I think is his name.
He says, Jackson is unhinged. He said, when he first approached me, he wanted to walk with Elias. I wanted to mold him into something special. But last week, he ran off to save himself. But where was he when I helped him? He says, but he's unpredictable. Now that we're getting back with fans touring again, the idea of sitting in a car for hours next to Ryker makes me sick. I don't want to be around him anymore.
After that, we had Alexa's Playground. She introduces Reginald, congratulates him on his win, asks how does he feel about it. He says, apart from my leg, I feel great. But Lily interrupts. She has a question. There's a silence. Of course, Reginald can't hear a doll talk.
Right, Lily, yeah, it's just a doll.
Yes. So Bliss says, oh, all right, here's the question. She wants to know about your time at Cirque du Soleil. And before he has a chance to answer, Shayna attacks him, takes his seat on the swing. Bliss tells Shayna she wasn't really invited to play today because Lily doesn't like her. Shayna tells Bliss she's becoming a problem. And you just saw how I handle my problems. Says before this gets out of hand, we need to have a chat. I'll see you next week. And then Shayna kneels next to Lily, says, you're just a stupid doll.
I was so hoping there'd be a cooler line of dialogue there.
Or she just said that and took Lily and
yeah, do something then, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this here in chat. White Brownie says, Elias, when he's interviewed, says, I've seen his tweets. He's like, man, I was looking at this thing called Twitter, and I was going back in his timeline. Eesh. Yeesh. After that, we're backstage. War Machine is with, or what are they called? The Viking Raiders? They're with Mansoor, and they're explaining how live crowds work as if he hadn't been in front of massive crowds in Saudi Arabia. Anyways, they suggest he come up with a war cry. They think he should say, raid. And so he tries it. They're like, hey, you're a good kid. Welcome to Raw, even though he's been there for like a month now.
Yeah.
So then they leave. Ali is just milling about. And he says, hey, be careful making friends around here. They'll stab you in the back. I know. DTA. Don't trust anyone. Mansoor says, so why should I trust you then? And Ali says, now you're getting it. Welcome to Raw, kid.
Yeah. We're backstage again in Hurt Business private locker room. They're partying it up. Kevin Patrick walks in for an interview. MVP says there is intrigue about who's going to lose to Lashley at Hell in a Cell. But he says, I want to talk positive right now. He brings up Kofi Mania, how it brought him to tears. He says, yeah, Drew is a former champion. He says he respects them as people, not as competitors. He said, we'd love to be ringside to watch the match. You know, he thought Adam Pearce threatened to suspend him was a bit harsh. But hey, they're there. It's way better in their private locker room than getting a 90-day suspension. And Lashley says, tonight it's all about the party at Hell in a Cell. There's nothing Drew or Kofi can do to end the almighty era.
I did appreciate, though, during the match, Lashley was firmly, locked in on the match itself. There was a great shot of them backstage, and Lashley's just watching, and the others are literally just dancing. There's, no music or anything. But no, I like that Lashley is laser focused on the match. And what a match it was. This was a hell of a match that featured so Kofi down the finish does hit a Trouble in Paradise, but Drew, stumbled back, found the rope when Kofi went for the pin. In the end, Kofi goes up to the top. Drew catches him midair with a Claymore to get that win. Disappointed in the outcome. I wanted to see this as either a triple threat, those can be fun, or just a straight up Kofi versus Lashley. I kind of figured this is going to be the way they would go, though. But yeah, just if you have an opportunity, this is the match to watch from Raw from start to finish. Yeah,
it really is. I really liked early on where Drew, obviously having the power advantage, was overpowering Kofi. And then Kofi, in the midst of Drew trying to do, I think this happened at least 2, if not 3 times. Drew's going for a suplex. Kofi would roll him up, know?
Yeah.
I thought that was a good little touch.
Yeah,
and then try to string together some offense before, Drew can mount a comeback. It was a good match. It was really good story being told. Unfortunately, Kofi came up short. You got to think if Drew is going to get this title back, it's got to happen to Hell in a Cell.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be it. It's either he's going to get the title back. I suspect this is going to be where Jinder gets involved or something happens. I know he lost to Randy last year, so maybe this is going to be one more thing he ticks off. This is where I win it. So that's a possibility. I'll be honest. I kind of feel like predicting it now would be before WWE even knows. I feel like over the next couple of weeks, we'll get a better idea as to if they're going to run with Drew as champion leading into going back into the fan era, which would be one way to go about it. You know, fans are back. You want a babyface as champion. Maybe that's what you do, especially because you got Roman over there on SmackDown, who's a heel. So I don't know. We'll find out over the next couple of weeks, but I kind of feel like either they know it's going to be Drew or they don't know what they want to do.
I'll tell you what, if it ends up being a Hell in a Cell match, Drew's probably going to win for the reasons you said, because he lost to Randy at Hell in a Cell.
Because he already lost, to Randy.
This Drew's story, at least before he lost the title, really was all about him learning, before he lost the title, Lashley, learning how to become a champion.
Yeah,
that was Drew's story.
Vince's story is, I'm waking up. What do I feel like doing today?
I know.
Rich here on the Patreon says, who else can WWE push into the title scene that hasn't ever been a champion? Damian Priest. I think it's
Damian Priest.
Probably,
Keith Lee.
Obviously, Keith Lee, wherever he is. Yeah. Those are two good names.
Yep. Hip Hop Hippo. It's crazy that Raw is so bad that most popular channels that discuss wrestling are choosing to just skip it entirely. It doesn't mean, like, by and large, it doesn't offer up anything.
It doesn't. There's nothing really happens. And it's like, why am I sitting here for 3 hours? You know? And it's like, you know, not to get too much into it, but it's like, yeah, what we primarily function here at Going in Raw is, you know, critiquing current programming. So, like, we are still going to watch Raw. You know, other channels have different approaches to how they handle their programming, and so they might have a bit more freedom to stop watching Raw.
The foundation of what we do is recapping and critiquing episodic television, wrestling television.
Yeah. Unless we wanted to completely dismantle that, which I don't think either of us are interested in.
I mean, it I guess depends if Raw can get any worse. Then I guess maybe that's a conversation we'll need to have.
If they can find new, intriguing ways of being worse.
Yep. Beans from the East says, unpopular opinion, I enjoy Shayna on main 5 times more than I ever did in NXT, where she was a boring MMA fighter with mostly lame matches. I think she's managed to unlock. She seems more confident in terms of the personality aspect of wrestling.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
And so I understand that.
I'd like to see her.
I thought some of her matches in NXT were good, but I thought some of her matches in NXT were kind of just, you know, they were fine. I
would like to see her with good sports entertainment creative. You know, like if she were to go to SmackDown and face Bianca Belair, that's something I'd like to see, you know, as a singles.
There's another thing about the second half of Shayna's NXT run when she had Duke and Shafir with her. It just seemed like there's like 2 very distinct eras of Shayna's NXT run. Well, the first half she was by herself and she was running through everybody and being dominant. In the second half, they kind of booked her to a degree as kind of, not totally, but kind of the cowardly heel champ. Yeah. And I much preferred the first half where she was just running through everybody.
Yeah. No, I agree. Let's see here. Cameron Bartolazzo says, I gotta admit, I loved Randy's mustache. He's got a goatee now. He says, what other Raw superstars do you want to grow some facial hair?
I mean, so many of them already do have facial hair. What about Riddle? If Riddle grew a beard.
He's a literal babyface. I think it works for him. Yeah, a lot of them already have it.
Yeah,
Omos has a beard. How about this? Just Omos has a bigger beard. He has like a giant, like Ryker type beard, where it's just huge.
Okay,
that I think would be cool. Punk's not dead. In his promo tonight, Sheamus said something about creating the U.S. Open Challenge. Could they be planting the seeds for John Cena accepting his Open Challenge? Oh, he talked about defending it from night to night, town to town. Could they be planting the seeds for John Cena accepting his Open Challenge when he returns? No. I mean, I understand what you're saying here, but I don't feel like they're going to have John Cena have a Sheamus thing.
No. If John Cena comes back, it's world title or bust, because he's got a record to break.
It's Roman Reigns or bust. It'd be awesome. It'd be really cool if they were at a pay-per-view and maybe there was a reference to it, you know, showing us that this is all one connected universe. That'd be cool.
That'd be great. Dangam Q, I get the feeling that when fans return, Ryker is going to get the silent treatment.
We shall see. Curious about that. I'm curious about reactions to a few things. Let's see here.
Jorge D. In his A&E documentary, what will Brett rant about most? Goldberg, WCW, Shawn Michaels. I'd like to nominate another contender, Hulk Hogan.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh man. What is he gonna rant most about? Those are all really good.
I kind of feel like it's gonna be Bill.
Really?
It could be, because Bill's the one that kicked him in the head. Ended his career.
It's a WWE produced thing. Yeah, I'll throw a dark horse out there. Vince Russo. I'll just throw that
Vince
out there.
McMahon. Vince McMahon too.
Yeah, but Vince McMahon's producing it. This thing wouldn't exist with it. No, I'm sorry, he's not producing. If it's not for WWE, this thing wouldn't exist. Isn't it like a co-production? I think it's a co-production, isn't it?
Maybe.
I think.
Maybe.
I don't know. But I feel like without this, like I don't know. He's never been afraid to bite the hand that feeds him. So who knows? It could be Vince. Yeah, he's a real motherfucker. They don't believe it either. Like he shows the painting and it's like him.
And it's him knocking out Vince.
He hits him in the locker room. And Sean is there in the corner thinking that they're all going to beat him.
Cowering in the corner, crying, yeah.
Yeah, he's a real motherfucker, At Vince McMahon. Eddie Brock's Venom. Who do you think will be on the cover of WWE 2K22? Hopefully it's Bret Hart punching Vince McMahon. It's Bret Hart's painting with the 2K22 logo above it.
That'd be great. Painted by him.
It hits different.
Yeah.
I hit Vince different.
This game's a real knockout. Collision physics are great in this game.
Collision. When my fist collides with Vince,
Who should be on the cover? I still feel like the New Day should be on the cover. I think that'd be great.
That'd be terrific. That'd be great. I'm gonna say Bianca and Bianca and Roman. Was Roman already on the cover? He was on the last one, I think. That's why I did so terribly.
Yeah. Wow.
Bianca and Jey Uso with his right hand man shirt on.
Okay, that's good. Night by night today, a group of friendly extraterrestrials gave you temporary possession of a magic red and black super suit. They've entrusted you to find the next greatest American hero. What Raw superstar would you most likely give the suit to?
Believe it or not, Jackson Ryker's walking on air.
At home.
I'm going to give it to Jackson Ryker.
Oh, terrible idea.
He's so Homelander. Give it to Cody. I know it's not a Raw superstar.
Situation. Kofi Kingston.
Oh, that's good.
Mr. Breeze and Gentle, thank you for the bits.
Anthony R. says, I've enjoyed seeing some different talent on screen tonight. Mansoor, Mustafa, even Mace and T-Bar getting the win was nice. Now, do you think they're going to follow up with this and sort of maybe build some small storylines out of any of these people? Or is this they need to fill a 3-hour show? I mean, dude, even on SmackDown, a show that we both really enjoy, didn't follow up on Aleister Black coming out and messing up Big E from the week before, this past week on Friday. So I think it'd be awesome if they were to start building these stories instead of just copying like another Cedric Shelton match with an eye poke. It would be great if they would do that. I would love for them to do that. Yes, do that. Will they? Evidence doesn't look great.
White Brownie, you both decided to go to IKEA for some hot dogs because let's be honest, IKEA is only good for its food court. They used to have good cinnamon rolls there.
They did, yeah.
You can only choose one topping for your hot dog. What's your topping?
I mean, number one, if I'm going to go to a store for a hot dog, it's going to be Costco. Those things are awesome. Awesome.
But that's not the premise of the question. It's IKEA.
One topping?
Yeah.
Does nacho cheese count? Otherwise, it's mustard.
I don't know if they offer nacho cheese at IKEA.
Probably not. This is mustard.
Ketchup.
Game
World, obviously money and financials aside, are you guys happy with the state of where Going in Raw is? In case that's too personal, what is one thing you wish to take away from the current format you use to broadcast your content? Reviewing Raw on Monday night.
I want to take that away. We took that away on Mondays anyways. Mondays are going to be awesome now. I wish that YouTube would not, and I understand why they do it. I get what they're going for. They reward content that is what they feel is bingeable. Is we do a podcast, they want people, they wanted to dump people into another podcast and so on and so forth. I would love if YouTube wasn't so rigid with that, so that stuff like 10 for the win would do better just sort of by virtue of its own thing, as opposed to us having to wait and hope that it goes viral. Some of the sillier content that I now do over at Friendoville, the Wrestle Juice stuff, which I really enjoy, I feel like I have to put that on its own channel for it to have any chance. Otherwise, it's going to do the standard 5,000 views. And like over on its own channel, 5,000 is really good. But over here, I would expect it to do more because we have a larger audience. So that's why I put that stuff over there, because I enjoy producing stuff that's goofier, that's more comedy. I wish that I could bring that over to Going in Raw, but I just know that it's going to get lost in the shuffle and it's going to die on the vine. So I put it over at Friendoville.
What's happened by and large with short form content. We do it on Going in Raw because for whatever reason, Going in Raw, as in the eyes of YouTube, is long form video content channel.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like that doesn't stop sometimes like a news brief from taking off. Like, the 20-minute news briefs will often do pretty good as well. But I think they consider that part of the longer form video content that the channel is just understood as. And that's simply a reality of the marketplace. Whenever you own a business, you have to adjust to adjusting marketplaces. And I understand that, or adjusting markets rather. And so, I enjoy the stuff I'm doing with Wrestle Juice, and this is where I do this stuff, and I wish I could combine them both, but that's just the way it is.
Patrick Oliva, future punishment, have to watch Cody's reality show full season in one sitting.
That's a great idea for a punishment. That's a great idea for a punishment. That's a punishment right there.
That is a punishment. That's just a lot of reality TV to watch.
If it's, let's say they give it a 10-episode run and it's 20 minutes each, that's not terrible. I mean, that's doable in one sitting.
Hours.
Yeah.
3+ hours, 3.5 hours.
That's about as much Cody as I could stand.
Yeah. Shane's birthday tweet: would Rhea benefit from being either a heel or face all the time instead of this weird book tweener they have her being now?
Oh, who's this they're talking about?
Rhea.
They're not going to. It's going to be until she goes to SmackDown that they figure out. They have no idea who she's supposed to be. She can't read that dialogue and be convincing. No. It's horrible. I mean, it's just, we mentioned this before, man, about like, NXT will prepare wrestlers for the production aspect of Raw, but it's obviously not preparing them for grabbing a script with 5 minutes till your segment's on and memorizing stuff and coming off as convincing. Mm-hmm. Paul Enkick, with his first episode of Raw under his belt, is Jimmy Smith already better than Adnan Virk after his fourth? Do you think he'll be in it for the long haul? Yes, I do think that he is way better than Adnan Virk. He's a better fit. I have no idea if he's going to be in it for the long haul. It's up to him and WWE.
Yep. Crossface Chicken Stain, I really don't understand how Damian Priest beat Piz and Morrison over and over only to show up for a backstage segment. How can you win a feud only to disappear? That is WWE storytelling right now.
It's so like, hey, Aleister Black came back, big return, Black Masses, Big E. Oh, that's gonna, and then they just don't happen. And that's on the good show.
I know.
That's on the good one.
I know.
Here I haven't heard from Nemo in a while. Here's Nemo. Been doing a lot of Googling. How many days has X happened? Come to find out, on Sunday the 13th, Loki will have been the Larson Libre champion for 666 days. That is awesome. She says, how should we celebrate? By taking them to that one meal you took them out to,
yes,
to watch them, to have them watch you eat by yourself.
Yes. 100%.
Okay, we'll finish with this one. Wolfpack for Life asks, because Shrimp That Sid was victorious, how would you book in his prime Sid on today's WWE?
Oh man, I don't know how. Sid would last like 3 weeks. Be like, softball time, you know. I have a feeling that he would not be down being handed a script.
No.
You know,
it would be completely muddied up. Yeah, a lot of today's stuff isn't fit for the older school wrestler. Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back with our Monday Night Raw review next Tuesday around noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, live at the twitch.tv/Steven Larson. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.